Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a quick one-day project I made to test out the functionalities of PocketBase, which is an open source backend specifically designed kind of for side projects that is incredibly easy to set up, a very lightweight memory footprint Go server that provides you a nice GUI interface for managing, setting up, and configuring databases, and it offers a couple SDKs for in different programming languages. So the project that I made is just a simple web scraper where we have a crawler function that has a couple workers of different types, one that queues up some URLs to scrape, one that actually scrapes the URLs, and then it just dumps them into a queue, right? It just dumps them into the PocketBase database rather, and we can then look at the URLs that are scraped. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to set up a fresh database over here on PocketBase. So this is my PocketBase binary that I've got running on Railway. And you can see that it's just located right here. Railway made it super easy to set up. Basically just configured some simple stuff like just upload the binary and serve it. So let's go ahead and create a new database. I'll talk about this birthday messages thing later. So let's go ahead and make a database called sites. And sites should have a URL. It should have a content hash. Right, this would be the hash of whatever is at the URL, so we can see if, say, a website changed later on or something. And then, let's see, the last parameter, let me get it from my types. We're going to visit time, date time object, so it's visit time. We're going to go ahead and set that to date time, and we'll be done. Alright, we've created the sites database. You can see that we have no records yet, but that will change pretty rapidly. So let's hop over to the crawler and let's just run this function. So it's queuing some URLs, gathering necessary client auths, and let's visit the database. And you can see we already are scraping. So I'm scraping a couple URLs, namely Wikipedia, Reddit, and Hacker News. We can scroll up and see we're looking at Wikipedia, Hacker News on an arbitrary date in the past, and the Reddit programming subreddit. And looky here, we're just gradually populating, filling out PocketBase. You can see that we're getting pretty good QPS from PocketBase, despite the fact that it's oriented towards small side projects. We've already uploaded 366 records, at least 366 already, at least 750 of them now, as well as the ones that are listed on the first page. And we can see the different URLs that we're scraping. So while this is running, let's just go over and inspect the code a little bit. We have our first method here, fetch URL, and all it does is get a remote URL and create a site object that I define over here using Pydantic for validation, and it fills it in with the URL, the hash of the content on the page, as well as the time that we visit it, and it returns that out. Now we have two main workers for our parallel processing. One is the queuer and one is the fetcher. The queuer takes the list of websites that we found so far and drops them in the queue for the fetchers to fetch, and the fetcher fetches the websites, and that's what it dumps into PocketBase. You can see our store site function if we hop over here. It just drops it into PocketBase using the PocketBase SDK. This is actually a third-party SDK that someone else developed against PocketBase to provide a Python client. PocketBase natively offers JavaScript and I think it was Dart. Yeah, JavaScript and Dart SDKs, but I'm using the Python SDK, so all the functionality is there, but it's not necessarily officially supported by the developer. Now, what do we have over here? We have Notify and interesting content. I can go over that later. It's using this fantastic service called Notify. And basically, Notify, what it can do is you can send a simple HTTP request and get push notifications for that. I'm a big fan of Notify. Notify just came out. Maybe I'll make a video dedicated towards it. But I can use this to tell me when content on a web page contains something interesting. And we can go over that in a second here. Now let's real quick check on the status of PocketBase. You can see we've already scraped 3,000 different websites. We're really just crawling all over the internet right now. We have Imgur to Wikipedia to BBC.com, tons of stuff. Now we have a worker to analyze the content. This basically allows us to scrape some interesting content over here with some things that I'm particularly interested in. Let's see, all of that stuff's too specific, so let's look for the term wolf, right? And let's restart this worker right here so we can test out the notify service and see if we get notified. So we're starting. Looks like we get just a little bit of an error, but we're going. And you can see that we're getting notified. Looks like we found wolf somewhere on YouTube, right? And looks like we found wolf somewhere on the main page of Wikipedia. Let's do Control F for wolf right here. Yeah, we see Wolf Schneider over here. I'm not sure who this guy is. German journalist, author, and critic. But this is really just showing how you can piece together two open source projects, Pocketbase and Notify, and get something that scrapes the internet for you and notifies you if anything interesting is out there. So let me know if you want the GitHub for this. I can put it on GitHub. And it's just a real simple web scraper to test out these things. And I definitely advocate. So check out Pocketbase and Notify. And I'll put the links in the description. Here's Notify and here's Pocketbase. Pocketbase has some great documentation. Notify recently went viral on Hacker News, and I really like them. So feel free to check them out. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about them. My email is accessible through my website. Check out any of my blogs. I don't want to say it aloud. I'm scared that the bots might get me. Have a nice one.